Jody Rainey, who is the president of the Heritage Conference, joins us this morning. Brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Things going well at Homer Center this morning, Jody?
Yeah, they are very well. We got the kids in and looking forward to this. Will be our second week, so we're looking forward to having another good day with them today. And any day with kids is a good day, so we'll take it and we'll keep on working with them until someone tells us we can't.
No major issues cropping up?
No, we've been actually had a knock on wood. Had a great week last week to start. You know, we had some glitches with technology, but otherwise, as far as all of our safety protocols, the kids did an excellent job of following them. And and even we have a remote option for some of the kids that are still working from home, and that went. Again, the technology glitches had a little bit of an impact on that, but just like any start of the year, we're identifying our priorities and working through them. So we got a weekend with kids to educate them for the first time in 6 months. So that was a good week in my estimation.
Absolutely. Let's hope that sort of success translates onto the football field and the other athletic endeavors that the Heritage Conference will be pursuing as the fall sports seasons get underway. And we're going to be talking with you tonight at Luther Ford for our Luther Ford coaches program, but I want to talk to you about sports overall in the Heritage Conference. There were a lot of people that thought, Jody, that there would be no sort of sports in the fall at our schools in this area or anywhere else in Pennsylvania. And with fingers crossed and a few prayers, it looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely, Todd, and we're excited about that. I continually remind people, and I think the message from the Heritage Conference is, I'm sure we'll talk later today about the spectators and things like that, but a month ago we weren't even positive kids would have the opportunity to play, and so I think that we need to keep that in mind. At that point in time, everybody was saying, I'll do whatever it takes, don't take it from the kids, let the kids have their opportunity. Well, we have that, and then in addition to not only our sports programs, also that opportunity exists for both our band and cheer teams as well. It's a kids thing, and we're very excited that they have the opportunity, and we're working hard to figure out how we're going to get as many people the opportunity to see our kids perform this year that we can.
Yeah, you think about, Knock High School, they reported, I think they had 170 just in the number of people on the team and all around that, and that's without counting the visiting team, and that's with no fans. And so, the bigger schools are going to have even more of a struggle, but it's going to be a struggle for all to come to some sort of understanding on what to do, and it really is going to require a lot of patience, isn't it?
It does. It will, and I think that one of the advantages of coming from a small school like the Heritage Conference, we're made up of a series of single A and double A teams. I think in the regards to the spectators, that does at least play to our advantage to some degree.
Yeah. So let's hope things go well in that respect as the fall training camps have gone along, and they will continue through the rest of this week as we get ready for actual competition on the field. Have there been any issues that have come up before the conference on a conference level to say, hey, this isn't working, but this might, things of that nature?
I think this is the one initiative that we've have, Todd, that I can really say that the entire conference, principals and athletic directors have really come together and put in a lot of work. And then, obviously, as changes occur, then we have to scramble quickly to make sure that we adapt to those changes and change our safety plan. So I think overall, I'm really impressed. The athletic directors did a lot of the legwork in putting the framework together for our health and safety plans as the principals were trying to prepare to open up their home schools. So I think overall, we talk a lot about how we can make it better, but so far, we have some things that, for something to become a routine, it has to be done repeatedly, and, we're getting closer and closer to being able to play within the adjusted guidelines that they've been given us.
In any sports season, there's a lot of pressure on training staffs because you get stretched with multiple sports happening on the same day, and the schools come to arrangements that will allow there to be a trainer or some other sort of medical personnel that's there for as many sports as is possible. Have there been any added pressures because of COVID-19 on training staffs?
I think there's been a lot of training for our coaching staff. I don't know of a program in the Heritage Conference that doesn't do daily screeners for COVID, with temperature checks and the secondary screeners, as we call them, for their program every day. And actually in the Heritage Conference protocols, what we've done is we require those every day, and then we also require an exchange, a certification before every contest, regardless of sport, that the kids that are participating and our coaches have gone through a screener successfully, and we certify that to each other that our kids and our coaches are able to participate and perform that evening or at that event. So I think the one thing it's done is the coaches have stepped up and has assisted the trainers in that regard. And even with the Heritage Conference, I know there is a concern, and rightfully so, especially with football, that without spectators at away events for a home team, what if somebody has to be transported to a medical facility? We've adopted in our health and safety plan that there'll be at least one and preferably two administrators or a school designated person to be at those contests. Their sole purpose of being there is if that happens in the event of that unfortunate event where a kid needs to be transported occurs. Like take for me, for instance, I'll be at United on Friday night. My job being at United Friday night would be to quickly get contact established with the parent so that parent knows exactly what's going on with their child, can provide information to the medics on scene, and know where we're transporting their child to. So my job is to establish that line of communication as quickly as possible, and that's part of the Heritage Conference protocols.
Yeah, and that's absolutely essential because moms and dads are nervous anyway in a high-contact sport such as football because they're concerned about their kids anyway, and this adds just an extra level to the fact that if they can't be there watching their kid, and we frequently see when a person gets injured, mom and dad they're out of the stands and they're down there on the sidelines with their child right away. So that's a great concern for folks, and to address it in that way is that's the type of thinking you had to do beforehand, because when the situation comes up, that's not the time to decide, okay, what should we do?
Exactly, and I think the other thing is we acknowledge that there are certain stadiums that have a difficult time with connectivity. So when I would arrive at a certain site, if I know there's not great connectivity at the stadium, what facility, what part of their school can I get to so I can get my information and I can get that parent connected as soon as I possibly can. We don't pretend, Todd, that we're going to be making decisions like that for a parent. Our job is to get that parent in contact with the medic units and the people treating their child at the game if that unfortunate occurs. Now, like for an ankle sprain or something like that, we'll leave that up to the trainer, just like we do any other time. They'll probably follow up after a game with somebody on some bumps and bruises. But as far as I'm talking about the injuries that would require transport to a medical center, those are the ones that we will definitely be getting in touch with the parent immediately.
We're talking with Jody Rainey, who is the president of the Heritage Conference, and Jody is going to be joining us tonight at Luther Ford Lincoln for our Heritage Conference Football Coaches Preview Show, and we'll hear more from him. Jody, let's talk about sports other than football, because there are a bunch of them in the fall, and the one that has gotten a lot of attention is volleyball. And how does that happen? That's an indoor sport, and the way volleyball is handled here in the fall probably is going to inform a lot of the way that the other indoor sports will be handled when we get to the winter seasons.
Yeah, I know, Todd, that one of the things I would do is I would encourage everybody to get a hold of their state senator and state reps and continue to encourage them to support and promote House Bill 2787, which does let us open up for more spectators, especially our parents. So that's the first thing. I just wanted to make sure I got that out there today. That's House Bill 2787. Mm-hmm. For us, I guess I'll talk to it from this level, Todd. I'll hit volleyball specifically in a second, but as far as spectators in the Heritage Conference, cross country and golf or two sports that we have, there is no, we don't feel that we're going to hit the 250 maximum. So both the home and away parents, of the players can attend that event. They only are asked to follow the guidelines established by the host school for cross country and golf. For soccer, I believe it would be the same thing. We have some teams in the Heritage that play soccer, but we don't, I want to say acknowledge that sport. We don't have enough to have conference competitions. That'll be the same concept. For junior high and junior varsity football, we are going to provide 2 passes to each of the players for both the home and away teams. We don't feel that's going to be an issue. So the one thing is they're going to have that pass that's issued to their child in order to attend. Obviously, screening will occur of those people at most venues. Mm-hmm. And then also, the face shield or face covering is required throughout the event as you arrive, as you attend, and as you depart. The 2 sports really outside of that are difficult for us is football and volleyball. I'll hit varsity football, then we can talk specifically about volleyball. Varsity football, we have to count the officials, the players on the field, the chain crew, our band, our cheer, the press, people like that, security, medics. So whatever we have left that gets us to that 250 number can be distributed to parents or to whoever the home team chooses. So the idea of if we're traveling to United on Friday, chances we're not going to have any passes for our spectators at United. However, when we have a home game, all those available passes will be reserved for our Homer Center fans and parents. Mm-hmm. So that number will fluctuate depending on the size of the opponent. If smaller schools come into town, that opens up more passes. If we have a larger team coming to town, then that's less passes. So each school has been given that option to determine how they manage their own passes for varsity football for spectators. Volleyball is only 25 people allowed inside a gym, an inside arena. That poses a challenge in a lot of areas. Unfortunately, there will be no spectators at volleyball as it stands today. That's why we need to promote that House Bill 2787 I talked about. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, we have come up with some creative ways of how we're going to establish our substitution benches out in the hallways. And you're going to have to substitute in, by bringing somebody out into the hall and somebody going into the gym. So it's going to be a challenge, but we've rehearsed it. It's not the ideal situation, but ultimately it will work, and kids have a chance to compete. And that's ultimately the goal, is for kids to have a chance to compete. So, as you said, Todd, unless something changes, it's also going to pose the same challenge for basketball season once it gets here as well.
Yeah, all of those indoor sports for the wintertime. Of course, there are so many things that change from day to day, and that's months ahead. But it'll get here eventually, and we'll do our best, as you are doing your best, to make sure that everything gets done with safety as the ultimate goal, and with the kids in mind always. Jody Rainey, thank you so much for visiting with us. We'll catch up with you tonight at Luther Ford.
Yeah, Todd, and if I could just say, we'll talk a lot tonight, hopefully, at Luther Ford about the live stream options. Every school is very committed to live streaming their varsity football and volleyball contest, and actually we'll talk tonight a little bit about options even for seeing junior high games through live streaming as well. So if people are looking for more information, kind of follow the Heritage Conference Facebook page. We'll be posting stuff up there, and tune in tonight, because we'll definitely be talking a lot about that tonight.
Very good, Jody. Look forward to it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
All right, bye now. There's Jody Rainey from the Heritage Conference with us this morning, and again, he will be tonight at the Luther Ford showroom for our Luther Ford Heritage Football Coaches Preview Show. Coaches